It's me, Jess, here with another reading. Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I thought we could do a lovely reading on what is your biggest blockage in love. We voted on this one and all of them were so close. So the other topics, if you wanted one of the other topics, I'll probably do those here pretty soon too. So I wanted to start with this one, and I've got 3 piles. Pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. This one is the unknown, vows, or curses. So I'll put your picture up if you want that. Otherwise, I'll see you watch our reading. Okay, pile number 1. What is your biggest blockage in love? This is actually a really interesting energy because you have the unknown as your card, and you also have the High Priestess, which is an energy of the unknown. So I feel like embracing the unknown is a really big blockage for you, but it manifests itself in a way that it seems kind of benign, and it actually seems really good, and it's really admirable, and it is admirable. I just want you to know that before we get too deep into this, I just want to remind you that in most things in life, we're looking to balance. We're looking for a balance, and so you can go into an extreme that's actually a really good thing and it's a really good quality, but you're just leaning too heavily on it and it just can pull you a little bit out of balance. So your biggest blockage to love, I feel like, is that you guys are weighted down by doing the same old, by focusing a lot on your responsibilities, and also looking into the future, like kind of kicking the rock down the road. Because I feel like what these cards are saying is like, go after what it is that you want, have an experience, chase the things that you want, embrace the unknown. Because a lot of you guys, maybe you are really into tarot and divination and things like that, but I'll remind you, when we're tapping into this stuff, we're tapping into current energies, and we are creator beings, we're manifestor beings, and so if we don't like what we see, we can change it. It doesn't mean that it's, it's a death sentence or it's completely fated whenever you get some kind of information from a birth chart or from your tarot cards or anything like that, that's exactly how it's going to turn out. Energies can always change. Everything is like living and dynamic. But I feel like maybe you've forgotten that a little bit, and you tucked yourself away in your little safety nest. And I know that this is really rich for me to like be saying and channeling right now in the time of COVID, where it's like we can't travel, we can't really leave our houses until everybody gets vaccinated and everything. So I know that like now is not really the opportunity, but for this to show up as your biggest blockage, I feel like this has maybe been going on for a while. Now, this same old energy, I feel like this can happen in any area of your life. It could be, and for some of you, I think this is the case, that you are dating the same kind of person. And some of you, I feel like you've not like, you want to leave your hometown, or you want to leave a situation, you want to branch out. Your soul is calling for that with the Page of Cups here. Just calling for you to engage in, even if it's like just a little hobby, and maybe you're not that good at it, but you would take that workshop, you would go to that conference, you would go spend summer in Bali, or whatever it is for you that makes your soul feel free. Because I just feel like you feel bogged down. And for others of you, the way this energy is manifesting is you have a lot of responsibilities at home, you have a lot of responsibilities at work. And see, one thing about the Knight of Pentacles is that he's always looking over his pentacle. He's not being present in the moment. So it's like looking in the future and not really like being in the present moment, and always saying, well, I'll do that eventually, and kicking that rock down the road. And still another way that this energy can manifest for others of you is not being able to see what's right in front of you. Maybe perhaps you have a type, or you are you're looking to something else and you're not seeing the gem, you're not seeing the gold that is right in front of you. Because I feel like maybe you have a tendency to get captivated by a certain idea with the Page of Wands, but because you're tied to something, you can't really see it all the way to fruition. So I feel like there are certain things, they really captivate your attention and you're all about it for a while, and you're like, yes, I am going to do that. And you're like, I'm going to do it one day, but then it never really gets off the ground here with the Page of Wands. And that flicker that needs to be like nurtured and then like put ablaze, really, it goes out because it's so And I'm hearing that Taylor Swift song, love's a fragile little flame, it can burn out. So I feel like it ends up with you having all of these, your emotions kind of bottled up inside. Maybe you end up overthinking things and you're like, well, what am I going to do about this? What am I going to do about that? Well, if I go away for the summer, who's going to do this? And when I come back, am I going to have to get a new apartment? What is my job going to let me off for that? It does bring up all of these different questions. And I'm not saying that it's not valid and legitimate. Responsibilities are responsibilities for a reason. Some of you guys, like maybe you do have children and it keeps you tied to your home and it is hard to make big moves like this. But what I'm getting with this unknown energy is that you don't really know how things are going to turn out. All you can do is set your intention, set your manifestation, try to listen to life. When it says to jump, jump. Trust that the things that you're drawn to are there for your soul's highest good. And that there's I'm kind of getting the trapeze situation, because you have to let go of one bar and you're completely free falling and you have to trust life to rise up and meet you. And that is something that is scary and it takes a lot of time. But I feel like, and I said this in one of my other readings lately, and I feel like it was on Patreon, but it was, we were talking about how your mom, and your grandma, their advice to you was not to meet a partner in a bar or some kind of generic place where everyone goes, because you don't know, all you really had in common was you went to the bar that night together, But if you meet somebody, if you put yourself in different places where you have interest, if you're interested in spiritual things, you go to spiritual places. If you're interested in art, if you're interested in sports, if you're indulging in the things that you love, then those are the people that you are around. And not just your romantic partners, but then you have friends that have similar interests in things too, and a lot in common with. And you have more of a shot at true love, So I feel like you guys have been in a little bit of a rut, and somehow, there's safety maybe around you. And again, I feel like there's responsibilities around you as well too. And I can just say, I know when I made the decision to go to Omega, I had a lot on my plate, I had several jobs. I was going to school at the time. And I really had to carve something out. My experience was different, but I had to work for over a year to be able to get myself to a place where I could take off. And I just decided to go for a year, and it changed the course of my entire life. I met my husband there, but I prioritized that as just a basic need for myself. And I put myself in my responsibilities category, and it changed my whole life. And it didn't derail anything, I still achieved all the goals that I was going after and everything. So I feel like there's also a community around you. You could actually maybe rely on a lot more people to help you manage these responsibilities. And also there's something here about recognizing the different people in front of you, where maybe you write certain people off because you're like, oh, well, I dated a Ben in the past and Bens are just not good news. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So seeing a situation, being fully present, being very open, and trusting that life can surprise you, and that you can change your own self and your own energy, and life can surprise you. Life can throw you a curveball that works in your favor. That is it. And I also feel like another thing I want to say is trusting that the unknown is the unknown. Again, when we are, delving in the divination arts or whatever, we're taking a peek at current energies, but at the end of the day, the unknown is still the unknown. And even if you take a different action, if you listen to a reading at 7 p.m., and then at 7:05, butterfly effect, and then at 7:05, you're like, you know what? I don't want to accept that as my reality. And you take some kind of different action, maybe than even the spread said that you would, then you've changed the energies, right? And a lot of times just becoming aware of something changes the energies. So it's just being reminded that to see life with fresh eyes, I feel like, and that you do this is a reading about our blockages, right? So it's showing up as a block for you, which means it's out of balance and it's out of kilter. This isn't normal responsibilities where it's you're just meeting your responsibilities. Perhaps this has become a bit of a cloak. Perhaps what turned into I will do it eventually. Now it's been a couple of years, So it is showing up as a block, and you're showing up as the Hierophant here too. So some of you legitimately, you're tied down, you're working in an institution. Some of you guys could be married and you have a lot of responsibilities, and it could be, you're here about your marriage partner and how, like, what is blocking the love in your own connection, and it's just the responsibilities are weighing it down, and you haven't had much time to be fun around you. Now with the Tower card here, this is what's going on around you, and I feel like it's the unexpected. The Tower card is the unexpected. I feel like life is just like grinning, almost like the Cheshire Cat. Like, I can surprise you. I'm bigger than you. You think you know me, but I can throw some riddles your way, and don't forget that. And, just engage with me a little, even if it's a small way with the Page of Cups, even if it's just the smallest thing that you could think of, making it a priority and, spending enough time like trying to figure out, well, what makes my heart come alive, and I'm just gonna do that thing, even if it's just me finger painting in my kitchen, or something like that, because I used to love to paint and I haven't done it in so long. It can be so small, so small, just to do something unknown. Or even if it's like when you're out running your errands and you're like, you know what, mama wants a tea, I'm going to go get myself an iced tea, whatever it is, just small. Allow yourself to deviate from your routines and allow yourself to sing your soul alive and things like that. Some of you guys, this is the energy of Mrgashira. So there could be anxiety tied up in this. And I feel like this is kind of the star of, because Mrgashira is the star of searching. And so that to me, it's like you keep searching for something here, but I feel like life has been telling you that you have to make a certain leap in order to have this, there's something here that's like restrictive and holding you back, and it's not really working. And it's more of an excuse than something that's necessary, Because what you want is passion. You want this Ace of Wands energy. You want that jolt. And you're not going to get that like if you just stay in their comfort zone, stay in your safety. If you walk the same path like kind of every day. So even if you do walk the same path every day, I feel like there's a certain amount of where you're like looking into the future and you're not being present, because the people around you would maybe surprise you. I do think for some of you, there's someone that's interested in you. This could be your marriage partner that's showing up as the King of Cups. So some of you guys are overlooking someone who's great, who's like really great, who has pure love to give you. And this person doesn't know if they can come forward, but they feel like when they're in your presence, you're not paying attention to them and you're not seeing them in a certain way. So maybe this person just hasn't felt like they can approach you and like they can try to start something, because they're trying to read your signals and you seem like distracted. You don't seem like you're interested in them. And maybe you're not now, but it's because of the lens that you're seeing them through. Maybe this guy's name is Ben and you're like, I've already dated 2 other Bens and it just didn't work out. You know what I'm saying? But like the situation could be different now. And I'm gonna get some, hold on. I'm getting ahead of myself here, because I feel like there's a part of this new like exciting thing that is a bit fearful for you, and it's just it's scary. And it is. The unknown is always scary, and you might be scared of being pulled away from passions and things like that. And you don't want to let people down, because you seem like very responsible people that are genuinely motivated by not wanting to let people down, And perhaps you've been looking at yourself as like an object. This reminds me of like a mom, like a housewife who's buried under a pile of laundry and peanut butter and jelly, and she's always trying to do everything for everyone else. And it's like she can barely keep up on it. And so maybe like this is what this is saying, is like there are ways that you could have more help or something that are maybe more creative. If you if you just sat down with your journal and you were like, let me just try and think of some creative ways that I could not have to do everything the way that I'm currently doing it. Can I get a little bit of time for myself? Where can I get a little bit of time for myself? And some of you guys, it's like plan a vacation, especially if you're married and you feel like you haven't been connecting with your partner, or if you're in a relationship and you feel like you haven't been connecting with your partner. I feel like if you can, obviously we're in COVID, but some people have like campers or something, but if you can find a way to just like get away the 2 of you, or where you're like completely not in the environment that stresses you out somehow, Obviously, like, be safe. I know that it's hard to do this in COVID, but this is the message that's coming through. Obviously, a blockage has been a blockage a blockage kind of, it says to me that it hasn't just like popped up overnight, and it's probably still going to be here. This isn't restricted to just our time, so I feel like this is kind of a timeless message for people. Yeah, it's just, having responsibilities. I feel like this is a totally normal thing, right? So your advice, we've got the Sun card, Major Arcana. This is the energy of like having a new beginning, healing. The Sun comes after the Moon card, which is the dark night of the soul. It's fears and illusions. I'm trying to be careful with my language because, like I said, responsibilities are real. A lot of us have so much to do. Modern life is really tough, because whereas we used to not have all these layers of complexity in our lives, it was more direct. Like when you went to work to feed your family, you literally went to work to feed your family. You grew things and that was actual food and you brought it back to your family, whereas everything, we've got to work like 8 hours a day and at the very least. And then still a lot of people have to take kids to practice and do laundry and cook dinner. It's a lot. Modern life is very complex and very difficult to deal with. And I feel like this is a completely understandable energy to be in. But if you're asking about the blockage, that's the blockage, right? And some of you have kids that I feel like they can do some chores because the Three of Pentacles is about collaboration and teamwork, but it's also about recognizing everybody's like role and that everybody's at a different level, but that everybody can help. And so maybe that's like kind of a part of it. Is like reevaluating like the chore schedule or something around the house. Because the Eight of Wands, I feel like this is just about movement, and the Eight of Wands also, I don't know, there's something about, I don't know, with the Twister, I just feel like there's something about intentions and like life is just going to kind of blow away your intentions. So it's like, it has to be following through with your priorities and it has to be a priority. Otherwise there's always going to be something that comes through and like blows this down, And so it's all about balance, about like doing the responsible thing. Work hard, play hard is kind of what I'm getting because it's going to be constant. There's always going to be something pulling on your energy, I hope that I'm not sounding like dense about your life. I'm totally aware that there are things that people really can't drop the ball on. Okay, I also heard this thing one time, I think it was on a podcast, and it was this mother, and she was, I think she had written a book on how to manage certain things. Was this Brené Brown? Anyways, I was hearing somebody say this and it was like, you have the key to this is realizing which balls, like you have all these balls in the air and balls are going to drop. It's just a thing. Like just get over that trying to keep all the balls in the air. The balls are going to drop. The key is knowing which balls are glass and which balls are plastic. And so this is just maybe rearranging which balls you have in like the glass category and which ones are in the plastic category. Because a lot of times, and I'm just saying this as a person who's married, when someone truly loves us, like you don't want to add to their burden. And so you like completely understand and you lean on that person and both of you want to be that for each other. And then before you know it, if you don't check in, then it can be like both of you are making concessions from your relationship to the point where it does feel more like a business function or something. I hope I'm making sense. Because there's a lot of different energy, but the overall gist of this pile is just the biggest blockage is doing the same old, same old. And I think for a lot of you that ties into your environment. So you're not ever like meeting new people, exciting people who share your interests, cultivating your interests and get from that place, building that juicy fire energy of being alive and just having that, aces can be baseline energy. So having a baseline energy of fire, which to me is just like movement, excitement, sexuality, inspiration, growth, potential, excitement, living your passion. And that energy, people love to be around that energy and it just draws your people to you. And so it's almost like a pump and an engine that just needs to kind of get started again. Maybe like when things get calmed down. What's this High Priestess energy about? A lot of you, I've been getting this song by Natasha Bedingfield, Unwritten. The rest is still unwritten. So I feel like the people who chose this pile have probably been getting that song in your readings for a lot. And I also shared a meme on the community board, and it was like, "It's your story, honey. Feel free to hit him with a plot twist whenever you want." Yeah, look at all this like confusing energy and choice energy and options. There's so many options that are available. A lot of you guys, if you're like single, you have options in your love life. You do. And I feel like you're overlooking them because maybe you're looking at some kind of future moment where you're like, well, then I'll have time to date, or, something like that. But I feel like there are definitely people that are around you that have love for you. I think this King of Cups, this is probably a person that is different, that is spiritual, artistic, creative. And maybe this person is a little bit more stoic and they are a little bit more isolated. And so maybe you don't think that this person has feelings for you, but I do think that there's someone there, and it could come in, like this is in the near future position. This could come in, pretty fast. So I almost feel like there's somebody around you, whether you're in a partnership currently and you just feel a little, isolated from that person, or you pass this person, every yoga class, or every, people aren't going to yoga anymore, but you know what I'm saying? Like you used to pass this person, but, and I feel like if you just started something small with the Page of Cups, then I think you would realize that. The Sun is also about clarity, because with the Four of Cups, this is a certain apathy, and focusing on this. Some of you guys, I'm just going to say, you're hung up on a person that's unavailable, or somebody from your past, and you're thinking about a future moment where you're going to be with this person, and because of that, you're missing your life in the present. And there are great people. This King of Cups energy is great. And this is the Ace of Cups trying to come in. And this is someone looking at a group situation, looking at a third party situation, something like that. And it's like blocking that out. But with the Sun energy, it's just like, light them up. I always hear like, light them up. And you'll just see the happiness that's just here and around you and abundant. And that could be a big part of the soul lesson that is involved in that. If that one is your situation. And some of you guys, maybe you keep going to tarot readings or something, but in order to see if you and this person are going to be together at some future date, but we always live our life in the present. And so it's like, even if you will be together in a certain date, it doesn't mean to stop living your life now. That person's certainly not stopping living their life now. I hope I'm not being too blunt. But yeah, because the Ace of Swords is kind of blunt energy. It's just like a sudden breakthrough, and it's air energy cutting through water energy, right? Like this moon, unknown, uncertain energy, cutting through the energy of Neptune. Like you always have a choice. Some of you guys feel like you don't have a choice in love, and we're built by our choices. And I feel like life is like, you have so many options. I put so many things around you. It's almost like somebody being in a forest. Okay, here's what it's like. It's like somebody being in a forest and not knowing which plants are edible, but actually they're standing in the middle of a bunch of edible plants. You know what I mean? Okay, so I feel like that was enough. I hope that was not offensive in any way, or that I wasn't glossing over the fact that we all have responsibilities that we have to tend to, but I definitely think there's options and creative opportunities or something like that, to ask for help or get help or something like that. Yeah, and what's going to come of this is excitement, but I feel like a lot of you guys need to leave a physical place that you're in, that of comfort and stagnancy, something that just represents comfort and stagnancy. But don't take that if it doesn't resonate, because I feel like the people that message is for, you've been wanting to do that for a while, and you just keep telling yourself, one day I'll do that whenever these responsibilities are completely taken. But with that Eight of Wands, like there's always going to be more things, and life always can throw us a twister at any minute. And then all the wands that we were trying to juggle just like go to the ground, So for some of you guys, maybe it's getting comfortable with dropping some of those plastic balls. And maybe this is bigger than just your love life. Maybe you're the person that everybody always goes to, and this is so much deeper than that, It's so much deeper than just not having time to take a vacation when you want to. It's like feeling like you get love from meeting responsibilities for people instead of being and expressing yourself and connecting with life, and viewing yourself almost as an object, as a robot, as a Roomba that needs to go clean the house all the time, instead of someone who's a living, breathing person who has interests and a soul and those things that are, it's important to develop. So, anyways, for some of you guys, it's being a little bit more independent, standing in your sun energy, connecting to your sun. Everybody knows where their sun sign placement is. So check where your sun sign placement is and all that energy in your chart, whatever house it's in, whatever, connect with those things, because it's going to remind you that even though you have all these responsibilities to other people, that you are an independent entity, that you are a living soul. The sun is like, that's that place where we don't orbit anything. Other things need to learn how to orbit us. It's that place. Because you guys are givers, pile number 1. You're definitely givers. And thinkers. And I feel like whatever this is that you've been wanting to do, I feel like you overthink it. You like to daydream a lot about it, but then you overthink it and it becomes like, oh, well, I would just have to do too many things to make that work. And then it just creates this kind of stagnancy. But the 4 of Cups signifies that you have offers coming in that you're just either not able to see or that you're turning down. So I feel like it's right there. It's right there, pile number 1. So anyways, I'm going to let you go and stop lecturing at you. If that did resonate and you found that helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Bye, guys. Okay, pile number 2, right off the bat, what is your biggest blockage in love? This pile looks like you guys might be stuck in a relationship that is no longer serving you. And so your biggest blockage is all of this anxiety. I feel like you've been staying up late at night and you feel like your hands are bound in some kind of situation here. And so you've been sacrificing, and some of you... this is just an incredibly fearful energy. It's just feeling stuck. And some of you guys might be having nightmares and things like that. And it's causing you to block off your heart. Like you're not even connecting to your heart space. You're not doing whatever it is that your heart wants. And you're holding yourself back, and you're putting off making a difficult decision about a relationship. And for a lot of you with this vows card here, I feel like it could be a marriage. Because in the past, maybe you did get an offer with the Ace of Pentacles. A lot of times this is an engagement. And the Ace of Pentacles, right, that's the beginning of a journey in the earth element where you feel like you're laying down your roots and everything's going to be wonderful. But it's turned out to be a bit of a burden for you. And with the 9 of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, this is a woman who's, fulfilled, abundant, beautiful, but also very independent. And this is a person who has everything but love. I kind of read it like that almost every single time. 9s to me always indicate some kind of sacrifice. And with the 9 of Pentacles, I feel like this is a sacrifice of love in order to be responsible. Now, some of you guys might resonate with the first pile, but this pile does have a little bit different energy to it. This looks like a burden in a relationship. Because you also have the energy of responsibilities coming through here, where you're trying to, you're working hard. You're working hard here, even if this is just emotionally, because some of you feel like every single day is like walking through a can of soup, because I feel like some of you guys flat out could be depressed, and where it's like you're not lazy, you're not you're just depressed, and it's you know, depression can like freeze you, you know? And that's what I feel like. It feels like you can't make any moves, and because it's like a big decision. And you know that there's going to be a fight and some grief and some conflict and some loss here. So, I feel for this pile. You have a lot of energy. You could even have emotions for someone. You are very developed. This pile, I think this is why this is extra painful, because I feel like this pile, you're like very intuitive, and I feel like you're living in a house and living in a situation where the energy, there's like a lot of even if it's not like out on the surface, it's like there's tension and resentment, and maybe it does pop off every now and again into an argument. There's just conflicts, differing decisions, differing visions, and it feels like a lot of burden, and you feel burnt out. I feel like this pile just feels burnt out, and you've given up, and it's almost like a feeling of being almost comatose in the area of love. But you have very well developed emotions with the King of Cups, and maybe this is for someone else, but you can be in two minds about it with the Magician. So what's going on is, I feel like behind closed doors, you know, the Magician is an indication that you have everything you need to move forward, but it's maybe some of you guys are thinking, like, you fantasize about like packing your bags and leaving in the middle of the night, not telling anyone, changing your name, moving to a foreign country and starting completely over, you know, and just like making that happen. You clearly have some kind of responsibilities here, and I don't feel like you would ever do that, but our fantasies can sometimes have a way of like being a release valve. I feel like you guys need a release valve in this, just for your own self. Some of you guys, there's someone on your mind. There's somebody that you have like fully developed feelings for. And that might be what this, because this is interesting as the advice, the 10 of Cups as the advice, because how is this advice? Like, this represents like absolute happiness, and it is a Cups card. So in terms of relationships, this is like very harmonious relationships. This is a happy family. This is having everything. And the reason is with the 3 of Cups, which is, it can be a reunion, but this is interesting. I might have to pull more cards here. But the 3s are always like base energy of each of the suits. So this is just the base energy of water, the base energy of love. And I just feel like that's been missing in your life, because your hopes and fears here are that you can let this go. I feel like you really do. You want to grieve this. You want to move on. Some of you guys, there's some other person that you think about and you feel love for, and you're hopeful that you can let this go, that you can grieve this, and that you can start again in love and have a beautiful 2 of Cups relationship with someone. But you're also afraid of it, which makes total sense. And you're afraid of the guilt of it, because, you know, there's a lot of a guilt associated with breaking promises and stuff. And I don't know why I'm drawn to say this, because this is a hand fasting ceremony here. And my husband and I had a hand fasting ceremony. And the vows that we said to each other, and maybe this will help you, I don't know, but we said things like, do you want to, you know, is it your goal to hurt the other person? No. We said things like, you know, it's not my goal to hurt you. I know I might hurt you, but I want you to know that it is not my intention, and I choose to prosper you. I want the best for you. And sometimes the best for somebody is letting somebody go. And that's, you know, we didn't say that in our vows, but it's like, just, we set the intention of wanting to love each other and have a divine relationship and nurture each other and work for each other's happiness, where I know a lot of people don't say vows like that, but maybe looking at your relationship like that, or talking about it, or approaching it like that, might shift and change some energy in the situation. And a lot of you guys, there's intention setting because of all this energy. And I gotta say, I don't like it when people talk about this like in a threatening way of like, oh, you're manifesting this in your life. You're not, like, don't take it like that. But I feel like it's hard for you to get traction on where to go. I feel like a lot of you're refusing to make the decision. So you're just stuck and stagnant. You're not listening to your heart. Your heart has no say in this, you know, almost. But like, one of the things that has really stuck with me with this card, I got goosebumps when I read it the first time, and sometimes I just think about it, is she says vows are cousins to intentions. And we make vows a lot more than just wedding vows. Like we make vows all the time in our lives. And so I feel like more than this, it could be a vow that you've made to yourself, you know? Like I would never break up this relationship. But there are other opportunities out there. And I think you know that. So I feel like you're just confused. This is the energy of confusion around leaving a relationship. But this is, I'm going to clarify this because I don't really get this as an action. I feel like this is just more of a state of being. Maybe I feel like the decision is going to be different for each one of you, where it's like just, it could be that the thing you're most afraid of, which is letting your heart have a say and unblocking your energy here, could actually help, because I think it's like the energy of cups. It's like embrace the energy of cups. And if you can't do it in the relationship, then maybe it is time to move on. Because the rainbow, you know, rainbows come after the storm. Okay, I'm hearing Taylor Swift. Windows boarded up after the storm. He built a fire just to keep me warm. My babies fly like a jet stream high above the whole scene. Some of you guys really want to like travel away. And maybe when the time is right and COVID is, you know, handled and stuff, like you can heal, you can go somewhere and heal. Even some of you guys, I just feel like you need a spa day. So in the future with the Four of Swords, like this is the energy of healing. It is the energy of being, you know, insular. But it could be the energy of being a shut-in. And I'm worried that some of you guys are like really deep in a hole here. Okay, so what advice do you have for pile number 2? I really feel for this pile, you guys. I'm sending my love. Just know that I am. Because this feels very lonely to me. It's like you're in a partnership, possibly you're in a family, and it feels like you're alone because you can't really talk about this. Who's going to understand this, you know? Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay, this is just, some of you are in an abusive relationship and there's magic going on. Okay, what is this? Not for everybody. Some of you guys are in a relationship with a really manipulative person. I'm sorry I didn't catch on to that. And you really don't feel that you can be honest with this person because this person has a forked tongue. They have a way of making you feel responsible for everything, like it's all your fault. And that's contributing to your anxiety. So part of this is like someone subtly undermining your self-esteem, blaming you for things, gaslighting you for things, and you're just blocked off. For some of you, you didn't see this person for who they were when you made the vow. And that is spiritually significant. Consent, my husband's name's Alex, for those of you who don't know. He said to me, consent is considered paramount in the spiritual world. So if you gave consent under false pretenses, there could be something just sneaky going on here. But your advice is actually to be sneaky about planning an escape. And that's why I said some of you guys are in a situation where you literally might be in danger, or like this person is so manipulative that if they knew you were leaving, and I'm not saying like you have to sneak out in the middle of the night and, you know, change your name and get a new passport. For some of you maybe, but for most of you, I feel like, you know, maybe you're in a relationship with a narcissist, because this is how you have to leave a narcissist, is you have to have a plan. And a lot of times if you work with a therapist that specializes in narcissism, and it's so important to get someone who specializes in it and won't, because otherwise you'll end up getting gaslit, because it's something which a lot of therapists are just open about. A lot of therapeutic techniques will only fan the flames with a narcissist. And so you need to have someone who's specializing in it. Dr. Ramani has a YouTube channel. She talks about leaving someone and making a plan. So having a plan, like to where literally you can sit that person down and say, like, I'm staying with my sister, you know, my lawyer's going to reach out to you, that kind of a thing, because this person has been betraying you. This is a functioning dysfunction. You are impotent. Some of you guys just feel impotent in this relationship because somebody's taken away your power, but you're not. You are very powerful. You're beautiful. You have real love to give. You have a real love waiting to get in. You're very emotionally intelligent, but I feel like somehow your emotions are being toyed with or manipulated here. And that can be because you're being gaslit, because this person's a narcissist and they're using like psychological mind games and stuff to undermine you in some way. Or with the Magician here, and this is cloaked, like your person literally could have done some kind of binding spell or something on you. And I was getting that the other day. I did a reading that I haven't finished it because I had to leave in the middle of it, but there was magic coming through here. So that's a message that's been coming through. So if you know that your person dabbles in the occult, then be very, very careful. What came through in that other reading is not to drink anything that they gave you. There's a real need to be secretive about your moves and about your wishes and planning something. You guys, some of you guys like want to go somewhere particular to someone in particular. So your biggest blockage in love is this anxiety energy here. And I feel like it's this nervous state, and your partner could actually be benefiting from you being in this. You guys, I'm really getting a strong need to plan something out in private and well, to plan it out well. Oh boy. For some of you, have a real need to belong to a group or to a family or something, and you just feel like you're letting people down. So you're torn about this. And it just feels easier not to make a decision here. Ooh. Ow, you guys, this is tough. For some of you, this is a third-party situation. You feel like you have a choice in love. Oh my. Ooh, you're feeling bound and trapped. Some of you guys, this person's very overbearing. They use like sex and so just to recap, like your advice is to some of you guys are worried about child support, and if you are, it's like it's saying that it's better to just pay the child support. Like it's better for the overall situation. I just want to get more information for you guys because this is really heavy energy. It is telling you to be sneaky. It's telling you to be sneaky. Why is that? Because you need to plan. I'm so sorry, you guys. This was looking like a really bad situation. Things are not what they seem. Things are not what they seem. You're dealing, like a lot of you guys are dealing with a very manipulative person. And it's necessary to look at the situation from a different angle and to cut this cord here. Because you're having a realization that this person has not been good for you. And this situation has been very toxic. You know, and Eckhart Tolle has that thing where he talks a lot about children who are raised in homes where parents are always fighting and that they soak up that energy like a sponge and then they act that out into the world. And so some of you guys are worried about that, but it can actually, I'm a child who, my parents got divorced and it was the best thing that could have ever happened to my family. And I'm just throwing that out there so that you know that, that there's that side of it too. Okay, so I feel like in the future you are going to go through a period of healing. You're going to be very withdrawn in and of yourself. You have a lot of responsibilities and burdens that are keeping you tied here. And a lot of it is coming from some kind of tradition, and maybe this is a business, and maybe there's contracts involved here, but it's burdensome. It's keeping you trapped and weighted down. This has the energy of a fairy getting flung into like some water with their little wings. But you are keeping a lot of these things to yourself. But you're determined with the Queen of Wands. You are determined. And I feel like you're in strong energy here. Some of you guys you have a lot of feelings for someone that's just drawing you in. This person is beautiful. They are independent, very sexy, self-autonomous, spiritual, and honestly, I think healthy. But you haven't expressed feelings. Yeah, you're keeping your feelings to yourself. Probably because you're with someone else. So, yeah, this is defensive energy, and this is the wounded warrior. So I feel like there's going to maybe be a final push. I'm trying so hard not to tell you what to do, but this energy is, I'm telling you, I'm loving you from afar. I'm loving you from afar, pile number 2. And there is a choice here with the Magician. And also, yeah, I feel like you're going through a period, you're going to go through a period of healing. I don't feel like I have anything else to say. I just, I hope, this looks like a very lonely energy. Like maybe you don't even feel like you can talk to people about this, you know? But if this is resonating with you, I can see this in the cards. Oh my gosh, I'm noticing, I've never noticed the moon. Or maybe I have, but I'm noticing it again for the first time. So there was some kind of illusion or fear here with this vows. And the moon energy, when someone loves through moon energy rather through Venus energy, it can be very nurturing, it can be very loving, but usually there's like a hook, like, well, I did this for you, you kind of owe me. In doing that, doesn't matter if you love me or not. I don't care if you love me or not. You owe me because I did all these things for you, and that makes me the best person for you. No one will ever love you like me. You know, where the energy of Venus is, it does spark a true independent love, and everything happens above board and in the daylight and for love's sake and for passion's sake. And if it's not fulfilling that, then somebody walks away and leaves. So I feel like this union here is, there's a lot of guilt. There's a lot of hidden things. There was some illusions. There's a lot of anxieties, and it wasn't what it seems. It wasn't what it seems like. So I'm going to leave that there, pile number 2. I feel like I drugged this on, but I just wanted to be of more help to you than I feel like I was. But that is your biggest blockage in love, pile number 2. All right. If that resonated, please do like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Bye, guys. So pile number 3, what is your biggest blockage in love? I'm really feeling that this is a continuation from pile number 2, and we have joined energies, so maybe you guys want to watch that, but I'm going to try to read it not connected to pile number 2, but first I want to read it connected to pile number 2, because this is a deceptive energy. I feel like there's this person. The 7 of Swords is the biggest block to love. So this is, I feel like there's something sneaky and hidden. This could be a betrayal. This is some kind of deception going on. Feeling like you have to move around in the dark, make moves in the dark. And it's just out of alignment with who you want to be as a person. It's keeping you severed from your strength here. And it is blocking the energy of true love. There is something sneaky going on. Somebody here is manipulative. With the curses card and the Magician in the past, this makes me think that there has been a curse. There has been some kind of sneaky, manipulative energy. The curses card in this deck doesn't necessarily mean an actual curse, but with the magician, if you're dealing with an adept, if you're dealing with a person from the occult, or person who runs in those circles, because with the King of Swords down here, this is a highly educated person who's very logical, very cold, understands their craft inside and out, is an absolute professional. And being this cold, you could cast some kind of a spell on someone to keep them tricked. And because some of you guys, you're just like funding this Queen of Wands energy. This is someone who's benefiting, and it's like has you in the palm of their hand. They somehow shrunk you and made you small. But all that's needed to break this curse, if you feel like, oh my gosh, this person has been playing me, this, all that's needed is to reconnect with the divine in a genuine and sincere way. This person has debased you. Debased your connection with the divine. They've maybe made this person's framing. Like in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, they talk about the frame. This person that you're with is sneaky, and they're a framer. And I feel like they somehow got you off kilter, possibly using magic, possibly just through being manipulative. Because this looks like a giant pupil here, so like controlling whatever it is that you see. Somehow through that, they've got you off kilter, and they're being sneaky and living it up. So this is about you just regaining your strength here. You're showing up in major arcana energy here. I think that you're afraid of realizing this, but you're also hopeful that you can, because this has been going on for a really long time. I feel like pile number 3. So you're showing up as the lovers. So either you feel like blindsided by this person and you got so wrapped up in them and you thought that this person was your twin flame. You thought that this person was your divine soulmate. But I think now you're realizing that you have a choice. Now, if this isn't the person that you're with, there's someone else. And that was coming through in pile number 2, and that other person was the Queen of Wands. So some of you guys are wanting to sneak around to be with this Queen of Wands person. But I think maybe this Queen of Wands, because the Queen of Wands is, hey, fire energy doesn't like a liar, and they don't have time. They're not going to waste their time. This person would have a goal in mind, and they want you to be straight up and forthright. Fire is always very aware that you don't have very much time. So they want to give their time to things and energies that count. This person is also probably very goal-oriented. But with the 7 of Swords energy here, this person, if this is the person and it's not the person you're with, they're not going to respond well to your sneaky energy. And that will be a blockage to your true love. And you're feeling that this person is your divine love. But some of you guys with the Hierophant, this is what's going on around you, is like you're already committed to something. For others of you, there's some kind of spirituality or religious tradition that is blocking the way of this. This person's supposed to be a Jew because you're Jewish and you're supposed to marry another Jew, but they aren't, so you're sneaking around. And because you're sneaking around and like not having yourself out into the light of day about who you are and what it is that you want, and especially with your spirituality with the Queen of Wands, it's blocking you from your own sensuality, and it's blocking you from your own power. And so the whole base of this is this King of Swords energy. The King of Swords is highly logical, but usually his sword is just ever so off kilter. This is the patriarch to the Harvard legacy family. That's the kind of energy that this is, so a lot of times this is a very successful energy. I feel like you've climbed your way up to some kind of success. And if you're resonating with the first scenario that I mentioned, that you feel like you're with someone who's very deceptive, maybe uses their sexuality and their libidinous energy like very to get what they want, very deceptively, then that's exactly what happened. And I feel like maybe you couldn't see it because maybe you were in more of a logical headspace at the time with this King of Swords, and there wasn't like a social emotional, you weren't so much in your social emotional intelligence to balance it out, and so that sword got off kilter. But the King of Swords is also the keeper of justice, the keeper of relationship, but he's also a very unhappy energy when he's just by himself, right? Because the goal is to be the emperor, the balance of all 4. And so I feel like you've just been logical about this. And looking at this from the bird's eye view, because he's up on a mountain, you know, looking from a bird's eye view, but grounding this down, I feel like it's this swords energy that's the biggest blockage here. And we've got the King of Cups energy trying to come in, balancing this out. And for pile number 2, this is the energy that you were showing up in. So maybe you weren't always in this King of Cups energy, but it is showing that you're very developed in your social, emotional, spiritual sense. And you're starting to get intuitive messages that something's not right here. I do feel like you're building up some kind of a love for someone. But you know that you like need to get free of these chains. You know you need to get free of these chains in order to have a happy home life. The Four of Wands is a wedding ceremony. It's a happy home life, and it's also reconciliation, but you just feel impotent. You feel stuck. Some of you feel burdened by responsibilities. It's been the message for like responsibilities are definitely coming through for all 3 piles. This card in this deck is interesting because coming out, I feel like some of you guys, this might involve children. But in this card, this man's body language here, when you really look at it, his shoulders, everything, he's completely looking at this child here as they're building this like macrame art, you know, and smiling and being happy. So it's like saying that maybe there is some kind of teamwork going on. So even if you did leave this person, there would be teamwork, and you would, some of you are worried about a kid, then I'm just saying like, you're still going to be a great parent, you know, that's not going to change. So I feel like, yeah, this is making a decision to cut someone or something out of your life that's no longer serving you, and doing it from a place of wisdom. We've got the owl totem here in the bottom. But it's building strength, and with the lion and the lamb, it's reminding you that strength is both soft and hard, you know? Like flexibility, actually, like, you know, trees that are flexible enough not to break off in the wind. Like, you don't have to be so rigid. And maybe with your traditional energy here, there's been a rigidity to that. And then, you know, the strength card, this is Leo energy, and Leo is being the sun. It is being independent, having your own self-expression. So some of you guys, there is a religious tradition around this, and it's saying that in the future you're going to find your community, you're going to find your group of people. I feel like you guys are really tired of thinking about this, a lot of thinking energy. So your advice cards, you've got 2 major arcana cards coming out here, and this is interesting because the star is Aquarius energy, the hangman is Pisces energy. So I'm getting like, this is Purva Bhadra, and Purva Bhadra has a lot of blessings that come in from a past life. So I kind of want to tell you that there's blessings here. Some of you are really worried about this situation. You're thinking it through from a logical perspective, and you could have fears that have been placed there through nefarious means. But I feel like this is telling you to reconnect with your spirituality. If you're with a framer, someone who is determined to tell you what your spirituality is, someone who's interprets things for you, situations for you, who tells you how it is that you need to be a good spiritual person, be careful, because it's sneaky. Because this person has their own agenda. And their agenda is to keep you bound. And I think you're waking up to this realization that you kind of got like sucked into a narrative that wasn't yours. Sucked into a belief system that wasn't yours. And you might, if you're wondering how that happened because it's not like you at all, then be careful of this person. Hi, Luna. I feel like your subconscious is like getting your attention because her name's Luna, right? The moon. And she's just like meowing. She wants me to feed her. Okay, so with the star card, this is a card of healing, and it's a card of like just having hope. And the star card follows the tower energy. So allowing the tower to come and then healing after that, especially in regards to relationship, because we have the first 7th house axis here. Dreaming, attaching yourself to your dreams, because I feel like this is going to change your perspective on something. There's definitely a narrative here that I feel like you guys have been buying into that doesn't necessarily reflect you and who you are. And that could come from, you know, a religion, or it could be coming from this person who is invested in getting you to buy into their fantasy. And if you're dealing with a narcissist, that's a big thing, is a lot of times they'll create a shared fantasy and they'll tell you what your part is in it, and they'll seduce you. The snake, right? The serpent, and it's so seductive. It knows exactly what to say with its little forked tongue, to get you to stay. So I feel like this person paints pictures that are beautiful and fantastical and everything that you want to hear, but they're doing it for their own, like, to keep you there. And on top of it, they're telling you who to be and how to be. So this doesn't have to be an abusive relationship with a person. This could be, like spiritual abuse, where you feel like you have to hide yourself from your sexuality, especially with the Queen of Wands. So maybe some of you are LGBTQ, you're from a spiritual religious tradition, your parents or something won't, you feel like they won't accept you. It could be that kind of energy too, but you're off kilter from your base. And you're going to find your people. So yeah, this has to do with like your choice in love in some way too. Like you can't choose who you want to. So I'm wondering how the 5 of Swords could be a good thing, because this is hopes and fears. I understand as a fear that this is going to be a never ending argument. If you decide to come out of the closet, if you decide to tell your community that you are LGBTQ, something like that, you feel like it's just never going to go away. It's always going to be in the back of your mind. Okay, so some of you, if you're resonating with like speaking your truth, you're worried about speaking your truth to an empress, like to your mom or to someone that you're in a relationship with. You're worried about picking your battles, letting sleeping dogs lie. You're worried about judgment. I feel like you're afraid of this decision and the risks that are involved. And this risk involves your own abundance and your own self-expression. But it's also like maybe you feel someone's oblivious to this, that you would have to then let them know. And you have to let this person go in order to be the best version of yourself. That's it. You might have to disappoint this person and let this person go in order to be the best version of yourself. Okay, I'm hearing Falling Water by Maggie Rogers. I never loved you fully in the way I could. I fought the current run-in just the way you would, and now I'm in the creek. So there's a lot of fears and illusions about what this means, about this person's reaction, about what's going to happen. You really don't know. It's like throwing yourself into the unknown. So you're trying to make some kind of a logical decision here, and it's keeping you stuck, and you're longing. But you feel as long as you can't come through with your fullest expression, it's like hard to manifest that for yourself, So you were living a double life in the past, maybe with the Magician. I feel like a lot of you, where it's like maybe you were pretending to be happy in your relationship and then you were fighting a lot at home and being unhappy, or you were pretending to be, something as big as like pretending to be straight and in order to fit in and keeping that to yourself. So that's actually your biggest block to love. And I'm hearing there's like a phrase where, it's like you can lie to yourself, but you can't lie to God, or something like that. So it's the energy always knows. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we've gotten some heavy energy. This is not like, what's your biggest block to love? Maybe if you just put on a little red lipstick, that's going to fix it. These have been like very, very deep messages. You guys are dealing with hefty stuff. I applaud you because this is a lot. This is a lot. And you can do it. Well, be safe. Be safe. Because there are legitimate risks to all of this stuff, You've done what you've done in the past for a reason. So I just want to see, what's this curse's energy about? It's like this curse's energy could be your own thoughts that you're actually casting. You don't even realize that you're casting it. Like, and it is manifesting in reality, but like that I'm always stuck, that I've got to be traditional, that I've got to do the same old, same old. You're bored. You guys are bored. These thoughts are keeping you stuck. That's the curses. You are not punished for your anger, but by your anger. You're not punished for your thoughts. You're punished by them because it's keeping you strained and restricted. It's connected. It's not like you did something and then God comes in and does something completely unrelated to you in order to punish you. It's like, it's just, that's the way that the system works. You know, if you are angry, that just naturally creates a reaction like that, right? If you're telling yourself these things, it just naturally creates. Okay, so what other advice do you have for pile number 3? Definitely connecting with people that understand you. Ace of Wands. Okay. I'm kind of reading this as like some kind of divine inspiration. Like, follow your heart and manifest from a place where you want. Connect with your passion. Connect with yourself again. Go for it. Now remember, this is a general reading, and you need to be careful because the star card can be distance and it can be time and it can be reflection. There's a lot of time and reflection here. Okay, I am getting good energy. If you feel like you need to tell a mother, and especially if you're on good terms with this mother, like you know your mom loves you and she's not like mommy dearest, right? I kind of am getting good energy from this. I think it's going to be okay. I think it's going to bring you closer. It's going to lead to a new beginning, right? Look, 4 of Wands. I kind of feel good about it. Make your own decisions. You're responsible for your own life choices, but I'm kind of feeling good about it. But there's a lot of ways that this energy can manifest. And I'm sorry that it took me so long to kind of get around to that. But I feel like you're just hiding your own truth and you're part of yourself. The 7 of Swords is an Aquarius moon energy. It means like Aquarius is such an interesting, unique energy. It means you're different from the rest. So on the inside, the heart of you, you're different from the rest. And I feel like you're not really showing that. But if you did show it, I feel like you would be the life of the show. A lot of you guys are very alluring, the life of the show anyways. You're like also, you're thinking about your options. You're thinking about setting yourself free. That's what this Lover's energy is about. You have a lot of options and you're just unclear about where it's going to end up. You're feeling very defensive. You're trying to figure this out. I feel like maybe you spend a lot of time at night thinking about this, trying to figure this out, but feeling ultimately like apathetic. But there is a beautiful new beginning that does want to come in after all of this restriction. A lot of you guys, this links somehow to your Saturn in your chart and your karma in this life where you're feeling restricted. But when you push out of that, you're going to get into your own self-expression. You're going to have a brand new beginning. And it is going to be better. Like this has a happy ending, pile number 3. I just want to say that to you. Okay, I'm getting that Brandy song again. Listen to your heart. You will find there is nothing there to hide. Don't tell me it's not worth trying for. Don't tell me there's nothing I want more. You know it's true. Everything I do for you. So, okay, that's what I have for you guys, pile number 3. If that resonated, I would love to know in the comments. I wish you guys all the best. It is really my hope that we can build a conscious community here. And I know it's weird to say something on the internet, but I want everybody to get the support that they need. And it just looks like everybody's dealing with a lot of stuff lately. So anyways, I wish you guys all the best. And I want to say I love you. I said I love you to pile number 2. I just love everyone. I love you. Bye, guys.